All right, y'all. So let's talk about the Alien Romulus big controversy that's floating around. And this is going to get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's going to get spoilerific in this video. But if you have seen the movie and you want to discuss this, and I don't know, I'm just going to say it. Keep it simple in the comments. I don't think there is one way or the other of thinking about this. And I think that it's all subjective, really. And it all comes down to what do you think is morally right or what do you think is morally wrong? Or if you just think that there's a gray area within all of this. So before we get into it, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We're on the road to 35,000 subscribers, less than 3,000 to go. But if you want my non-spoiler review, I have that up. If you want my spoiler talk, I do have it in the explained. And here we'll dabble into some spoilers. So like I said, spoilers ahead. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but if you want to put in the comments that you got spoiled, might as well just put it now because you're going to put it anyways. But the new Alien Romulus film is set between the events of Alien and Aliens. Is that the new way to say it? Okay, anyways, so this is set between those two films, the Ridley Scott Alien film and the James Cameron sequel Aliens. Now, in this film, we follow a group of new strangers that we have no idea are connected to anybody else in this universe as of now. I don't know if they want to change that later on. If they do, that's cool. But what ends up happening is they come onto this old space station that is going to be their ticket out of being in the sort of grip of this corporation and be able to live their life. When they get on the spaceship, they find that there is a droid here, a synthetic, if you will. Once they plug this droid up, it turns out to be Ian Holm, the actor. But this is not him playing Ash, the character he's playing in the original Alien film. He's actually playing another synthetic called Rook. Now, the thing about Ian Holm is that he passed away in 2020. You might remember him as well as Bilbo Baggins, and he has a ton of credits to his name, honestly. So I was surprised when I saw this on the big screen, and I thought that the first couple of instances they did show Ian Holm, it was a little wonky and did give me those PS3 graphics. But I think after some time, and then I guess once he was behind a screen of sorts, it started to look okay, right? Well, this turned into a big thing about the film, and a lot of people's turning point of saying, I will not tolerate this film at all. Totally valid, totally fine. You have your right to accept or not accept the film. But I think that we started to see it get very messy online very quick. Now, I will tell you, as somebody who went to watch it with a full theater and a crowd and all of that, a lot of people got excited about it, and I didn't really hear much people getting pissed off about it from that screening. Now, I will watch it again, and we'll see what happens. But I think that this is definitely something that affected a lot of people, and like I said, they're in their right to feel that way. Some people said it was ugly, that it was nostalgia slop, saying that it was very much so like morally wrong to do this necromancy almost like a dead puppet and all of that, which I think, I don't know, people are entitled to their opinion. Because one thing to note, and this is for a whole other video, is that this is not the first movie this year to do that, because we actually had a film called Furiosa this year, which actually used a dead actor's likeness and brought them back to life for the sake of the film, and that was with the Bullet Farmer and Furiosa. But that's a whole video I'm working on for later this week where we'll discuss more of this. We're just talking about Alien Romulus right now. Now, one of the things I was wondering too was, did Fede reach out to anybody about this and what they were going to do? And I was wondering if that was going to be something that felt like, did they do it behind the estate's back? Now, one of the things I will tell you, I stayed after the credits for this movie when I first watched it because I wanted to see if there was a post credit or not. Now, of course, there wasn't, but I did see at the end that they thanked the estate. Now, I went over and dug a interview where he said that he talked to the family. This is Fede Álvarez, who talked to Holmes' family for approval about including the late actor in the film. And this is what he said. The whole thing started with me calling the estate and talking with his widow. She felt that Ian was given the cold shoulder by Hollywood in the last years of his life, that he would have loved to be part of more projects after The Hobbit, but he wasn't. So she was thrilled about the idea about having him back. So from the sounds of that, it looks like the family definitely was on board for all of this. And that's still a thing people bring up, even though if the family's on board with this, they still don't want to see this happen. A lot of people were asking why not just have David the android who was in Prometheus, or another Andy droid, which is the droid that David Jonsson played in Alien Romulus. to that, I don't know what to tell you, but it's just what the film decided to do. My best guess as to why they wanted Ian home is just to sort of say it was another Ash model, just the same model that Ash is. As we know, there are models that are based on the same look and all of that. That's my best guess as to why the studio and the filmmakers went for that route. Do I think that it's bad or wrong? I don't know. I definitely fall on the line that it was kind of a weird thing to do for sure. I do think that if they were going to do it, they at least should have made not look as weird as it did in those first couple of instances. I think that was kind of what drew people out, because comparable to Furiosa, the Bullet Farmer, it didn't look as wonky, I feel, but I think that at the same time, it was a look that Furiosa had that made it feel like it was still in that same, because Furiosa has this wonky look to it as well, which I think is purposeful. I don't know. But I think that was a big thing for people, was that how it looked. Some people just draw the line in the sand and say, nope, I don't want any of that in any of the films. Once an actor has passed, I don't want to see them anymore. And I think it's an interesting conversation to have, and I think that we're just going to have it for a long time right now, especially with AI being brought in by studios. Like, it's a sad thing to note is that AI is something that studios are bringing, and we're hearing it every day that they don't really care. And I don't think AI is the bigger problem in Hollywood right now. I think there is a larger one, and that has to do more with corporate greed as well as individual greed with some of the A-listers that don't really care about what happens because their payday is secured. And so that's like a thing I think right now that Hollywood needs to address, is this sort of disparity between the people that are trying to break in at the moment with the ones that are already at the top. That's a whole other conversation too. Like, I'm just here to talk about the Romulus thing and I'm already bantering about other things. So I'll try to make other videos on that because I do want to discuss that further, but I just wanted to talk about the Ian home and the controversy about it that people seem to have. One of the things as well is that apparently it was used with generative AI and also with CGI to do this. So those keywords definitely got to a lot of people, especially because the film had been saying that they were doing practical effects and they didn't want to use green screens and things like that. So it's kind of interesting. It's a bigger conversation needs to be had. I don't think it's a black and white conversation, honestly, because I think there is a lot of nuance to it, if you will, because I think that people are free to express themselves however they want with their art. And what limitations do you put on art too at the same time, right? And if everybody involved here, which I think should just be the family of the deceased, says, I give it the A-OK, I think it should be allowed to be used. If you feel different about it and you don't like it, I think you're free to choose to not like. I think you're also free to choose to not want to sort of be a champion for this film or talk about it. Like, if you hate it, you can hate it with all of your might and say it loud and proud. You should be given that respect as well. I don't think that it's good for people to shut down people that are saying this is wrong and this is why I think it's wrong, because that's their opinion and that's all that art is subjective. If you loved it and you think it worked for you and all of that, kudos to you as well. You should definitely be allowed to say that. And I don't think anybody should tell you you are wrong and you should not like this because of that. Because at the end of the day, like I said, if the filmmakers and the family came to an agreement in some way or form to use this, then who are we to say they can't use it? We can say that we don't like it by not going forth and seeing it. But at the end of the day, I still think that this year we have seen that studios are going that route now. So here's my thoughts on it. I think that it's definitely something that needs to be discussed more. I think that actors and people in the entertainment industry have to think about these things now, that you might have to be putting into clauses or in wills that you don't want to be used like this in the future, even if your family allows it or not. I think it's definitely something that needs to be discussed. But let me know what you think about the whole Ian Holm thing and the controversy with using his likeness and voice in the new film in Romulus. Do you think that people are overreacting? Do you think that it's okay? Like, what do you think? I am open to hearing everybody's suggestions. I'll probably put some of the comments as well in my upcoming video where I'm going to be discussing more of this practice and how it's been used in Hollywood in the past before and how I don't think this is going to stop anytime soon. So leave your opinions down below, and that video, I'm going to try and work on it to release by the end of the week, so stay tuned. But as always, that's going to do it for me. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. 35,000 subscribers is our goal and less than 3,000 to go. But as always, stay safe, stay positive.